Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Tours and Tutorials, episode 3. My name is Gord, and I will be your host as always. So, today I want to show you how to stoke a fire in Better Than Wolves. This is a fairly significant issue on our server because I've got some friends who are finally starting to build their own workshops and stuff. And it just so happens, this is my mob system, that we are starting to have a rapid production of product here. Very redundant way of saying it, but short of it is, I need to process this metal and these bows into their useful reduced products right here, rather than constantly running them back to our main base. So, to stoke a fire, it's actually really easy in Better Than Wolves. So we assume that you have, this tutorial assumes that you have access to a water wheel and power. That's our water wheel, or that one right back there. So the stuff you'll need a small quantity of mechanical stuff, gearboxes and axles. I'm also going to assume that you know how to build all these things. The recipes aren't too complex, but they do require you to have access to blaze rods, is the tech you'll need. Blaze rods for the hibachis in particular. Stoked. If you haven't gotten to stoked fire already, the kiln will be the first thing you build. That's the square of 4 bricks with an air block in the middle. And I'll show you how to sit this on the stoked fire and stuff. But I'm going to be setting up a cauldron and crucible. You will need a turntable, which requires quartz from the nether, a redstone torch, 2 redstone torches, redstone, and the key of the whole thing, the bellows. So, these 2 blocks right here represent where the spot where my, I just need to put those in for later use. This is where the cauldron and the crucible will be sitting when all is said and done. So, the way stoked fire works is it's created by a bellows from a hibachi. So we'll start by placing the hibachis. And the hibachis, for those of you that don't know, are redstone controlled fire. Basically, it's a fire source that you can turn on and off with a redstone signal. There's lots of neat things you can do with it, but the most useful thing it does in Better Than Wolves is it allows you to, it's the only way you can stoke a fire. There's no other fire that will accept the process of being stoked. Now you can have up to 9 of these stoked fires centered on the block you want to heat. The only restriction is, so I could put 1 basically on every side of this, and that increases the efficiency of the system. The only restriction is you have to have a minimum of 1. That is, 1 hibachi right under the thing that you want to stoke. So now, the bellows will stoke, is basically, it's a source of air, just like in old-fashioned forges. And it provides a puff of air to a 3x3 area. So this area, plus the 2 blocks in the middle, you fill that with hibachis, and it will stoke them all. This 1 bellows will stoke all of those blocks. But bellows only work with power, but not just any power. This is where it gets interesting. So we've hooked up an axle. Ooh, I don't know if I left myself enough room there. Ah, there we are. That'll work. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That is going to work just fine. Okay, no worries. So, you power the bellows and it briefly stokes the fire. So that's what stoked fire looks like. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, you got to be careful. Stoked fire can actually catch on fire, funny enough. But you know that the stoked fire burned down. That's because the bellows is by itself, powered by itself, doesn't... Basically, the mechanical power forces the air out of the bellows, which gives a puff of air, which forces this to stoke. So, by itself, with just continuous power, the bellows will not stoke a fire. That's where the turntable comes in. And the way that what the turntable is, it's basically a clock device. It creates timing effects, and its most critical use one of its, I mean, it has lots of neat uses. Like I haven't even gotten into the really cool stuff you can do with a, now I'm not necessarily doing this in the most efficient manner. This is sort of more for accessibility than anything. Right-clicking gearboxes with an open hand lets you rotate them, which is a useful thing. So I want to stoke this right here. So for a turntable to work, you have to power it from the bottom. It's the only way it works. Right-clicking it with an open hand adjusts the speed of the turntable, which I will demonstrate here. Now you need to clear out the space around it, because you'll see why in just a second. This is one of the neatest things. When it was added, it was so cool. So you throw those on top. Now what? Oh, I need 2 more redstone torches. Figures. 4 redstone torches. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never fails, does it? You're recording a tutorial and you make one tiny little mistake. Boop. This is why I always carry extra redstone for this. So, now this device right here, this turntable, is an extraordinarily powerful device in this game. So you see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that configuration of torches is the best way to make a timer, but you have to slow it down, because that's too fast. Pulsing the, so you turn it down. I have found setting 3 is about right on the nose for this. So now all we have to do, usual Minecraft fashion, is run some wires. So what you do is you put redstone right there, and that's 1 too low. You do not want to have the redstone immediately adjacent to the turntable, because redstone signal will actually switch the direction the turntable turns. Perfect. That's okay. And I always find it's best to have it on top. So you see how it deflates, inflates, deflates. That is stoked fire. That's all there is to it. It's really not a complex system. This is about as simple as you can get. There's no fancy controls for the fire. There's no... Whoops. Just breaking a torch, don't mind me. Now you see that's going to be too slow. 1, 2, and as soon as that disappears. So yeah, it's a very critical timing thing. So if I turn this down to 4, what you'll find, that's the slowest setting, is that the fire will de-stoke for just a second. There it goes. Now the problem with that is, as soon as it de-stokes, you lose your time. Basically, you lose the timer on your cauldrons. Now you could do it on these, but you know, server lag and all that. Setting 3 is more than adequate for the purposes of controlling one of these systems. Now this is the last aspect of this. The items that you want to stoke have to actually be contained within this upper block of flame right here. So this one right there, so you see how the fire disappears inside of this? That's how you stoke the cauldron. And likewise the crucible. So you got an open block of stoked flame below it, and the actual top part of the flame extends up into the item that you are stoking. So that's just about it. Let me just show you that it's working here. Throw a couple of metal items in. Now it's slow because there's only one hibachi. I could fairly efficiently speed this up by adding a couple more hibachis in the middle here, which I will do. I will work on this off camera. This is just a quick and dirty system, but you can see they're both working on converting these into their parts. Now for a mob system, this doesn't actually necessarily have to be supremely screaming fast. In fact, it's a waste of resources to do that. It just has to be fast enough to process the materials faster than it's arriving, which you can tune as you see fit as time goes on. So one tiny last little detail about this. Cauldrons and crucibles, just for a little reference, if you apply mechanical power to cauldrons and crucibles, they will tip and dump their contents out. So, and to keep in mind, don't accidentally dump your stuff on top of a stoked fire, but it's also something I think that will be extremely useful in the future. Anyways, that is a quick tutorial on how to stoke a fire in Better Than Wolves. Thank you all, as always, very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.